What's up, everybody? It's Cole.
And Xavier.
And Xavier, what do you got for us today?
Today I have one of my favorite Transformers decks, 3 wide planes.
And Xavier, what's that plane on my right, your left?
That plane is Slipstream. She is one of the promos, a way overpriced promo. Thankfully, I got her at $10 before the game started.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky.
You guys like my 3 lands?
But yeah, Slipstream, Starscream, Skywarp, that's who I'm running.
Do you ever change that lineup up, or is that a static lineup?
This is pretty static. I did try it a few times with Thundercracker, but the way I play my deck, it's not built for Thundercracker.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I'll start with Starscream.
Who do you say is the key character?
It's Slipstream.
It is Slipstream?
It's Slipstream.
Okay.
Starscream, Air Commander, 3 attack, 13 health, 1 defense on his plane side. When you flip to this mode, do damage to an opposing character for each of your other planes. So as long as you've got all 3 of your planes alive, he's doing 2 damage to somebody every time he flips to this mode. When you flip to his other side, 4 attack, 13 health, 2 defense, this side is really nice just because he has that 2 defense. He's really fragile on this side. But he's got Bolt 2 on this side, really good for putting a little extra pressure on your opponents. He's ranged on both sides. He's also a leader. Unfortunately, Decepticons have no leader-specific cards like the Autobots do with Matrix of Leadership, but maybe set 2. Next, we'll move on to Skywarp. 4 attack, 8 health, 2 defense on his plane side. When you flip to this mode, each player reveals the top card of their deck. It's really nice just to take a look at how the first flip might go. There's a few cards in the game that you can combo with to help manipulate your top card and everything.
There's quite a few cards to manipulate the top.
There really are.
Snarl manipulates the top, Datapad manipulates the top, Skywarp manipulates the top.
Incoming transmission.
Incoming transmission. Yeah. Incoming. Well, no, incoming is draw 3, get rid of 2, right?
That's inspiring leadership.
Correct. Yeah, incoming is the 2, and then
put 1 back on top.
Yeah, and that's a hard. That's a hard put 1 on top.
Yeah.
The Datapad is a May, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Skywarp 6 stars. He is your weakest out of all your planes because he's only got 8 health. So you gotta make sure you protect him because planes are already pretty glass cannony. So he's got the most glass out of all of them. He's ranged on both sides. On his bot side, he actually looks really cool on his bot side. But on his bot side, he's still got 4 attack and 2 defense, 8 health, of course. When this character, when this defends and you flip at least 1 white, you can move any damage he might take to one of your other planes. I don't often flip him to his bot side, but it's really good to help keep him alive and set up for some of your later cards like Bombing Run, which are gonna get rid of some of your damage on cards. Just a really nice preservation skill. But moving on to the most important one of the deck, we've got Slipstream. 3 attack, 13 health, and 2 defense. When one of your planes attacks, move 1 damage counter from it to your opponent, so just putting on a little extra pressure. It's really great when you've got an opponent who's super low on health and you just need to help make sure that you're gonna better guarantee killing them off. She's ranged on both sides. Looking at her on this side, she's only got 1 defense. Again, planes are glass cannons. But when you when this character attacks and you flip at least 3 different icons, so orange, blue, and white, she gets +3 attack. That's really nice to help put some pressure on. Again, like with Skywarp, I don't usually flip her to bot mode. The main one you want flipping is Starscream, just because when he flips back, he does that damage to an enemy for each other plane.
Yeah, that sounds like Nemesis, except a little better because you can get 3 until they die.
Only 2.
Oh, it only does
Your other planes.
Oh, it is, so it is a slightly worse Nemesis.
That's why I played.
Yeah,
You should have kept your
honestly,
Nemesis. You should have kept your Nemesis.
I wasn't.
You weren't going to use him.
I wasn't really going to use it, so.
Did you mainly do the trade to get the Megatron, or? Because you traded Adam. Was it mainly for the Megatron?
Because I was asking for the Nemesis, and then he threw in the Megatron, and I was like, ooh, I do want Megatron.
So were you originally going to do something with Nemesis, and then you're like, fuck it? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I just gave up on it.
I understand.
Like I said earlier, Slipstream is a promo card. I was really lucky to get her before the game came out. She was like $10 on eBay, and I was like, oh yes, let's do it. I'm really happy I have her now. Now she runs like $70 to $90 in most places. So if you're like me and managed to get her, really good job to you. But now I will move on to the deck. And first I'll do the upgrades, starting with Armed Hovercraft. It's got a blue icon. It's an upgrade weapon. When you put it on a ranged character, all of your characters in this deck are ranged. Do 1 damage to each enemy. It's really good with planes, just whole burn damage motive. And then it gives +1 attack, of course. I run it at 3. And then there's other than the typical plane cards, there's another card in this deck that works really well, combos really well with this. I will get into that a bit later. Next, I've got Static Laser of Ironhide. I also run this at 3. It's got an orange icon, upgrade weapon. It gives +3 attack. Only thing about it, when the upgraded character is not Ironhide and it attacks, do 2 damage to it. Usually this is really bad if your character is not Ironhide. I do really like this card just because Ironhide is like a completely plain character, only available in the starter deck, and they just gave him this card just to be like, haha guys, deal with it. But it doing 2 damage to your upgraded character works very well for planes, just because thanks to Slipstream, when she attacks, you're moving 1 of that damage onto an opposing character. So it all combos really well with each other. Like I said, I run that at 3 copies. Next on the list is Rapid Descent. It's got an orange icon, gives +1 defense, which is super important for your planes because, again, they are really fragile. When you put it on a ranged character, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and scraps it. This is really great, like early stages of the game where your opponent probably only has a few cards in hand anyways. So just a lot of nice early pressure. Like with Armed Hovercraft, this card combos really well with an action later on in the deck that I'll show. Next is the staple in almost every deck, Force Field.
Force Field!
Run it at 3 copies, of
You gotta
course.
get past the Force Field!
It's an upgrade armor. If the upgraded character would take 5 or more damage, you scrap this and they only take 4. It's a very, very great preservation card.
I need to. I think I need to slot 3 of those into Dinobots because I don't think it's in Dinobot.
It definitely would be good in Dinobots.
I'm running some weak characters.
Definitely.
But then again, I mean, like I'm also running it super aggro. But that was like. Dinobots was also like my first deck before Grimlock. Like Grimlock was the last change to that deck.
Okay. But still, I mean, Force Field would be good just because it's got that white icon.
And I'm sure I can make space in Dinobots for Force Field.
Yeah.
It's not hard to make space.
for those of you that don't know, probably should have said this at the very beginning. Blue icons, when you flip them, add to your defense. Orange icons, when you flip them, add to your attack. White icons let you flip 2 more extra cards.
Once.
Once. Which is very nice. But like I said, this is pretty much a staple.
Like
in
so,
every deck.
like when you flip 3 force fields in a row, you get 3 whites, but that only means 2 extra cards. So it means you're only flipping a total of 4, unless you have bold or anything.
Yeah.
I flipped 3 force fields in a row earlier today.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
You were there, remember?
Oh yeah,
I was playing against Chris.
It's a hard feeling.
It was awful.
Like I said, it's a staple in almost every deck. It's very rare that you'll see somebody not playing 3 copies of this, and I literally play it in every single Transformers deck I have. It's very nice. Next, Aerial Recon. Goes on planes only. When the upgraded character attacks or defends, you can look at the top card of your deck, and you may scrap it. It's got an orange icon. It gives +1 defense. Again, really good because planes need that. It combos very well with Skywarp because when you flip him to this mode, you're gonna know what you're getting, so you can automatically just go ahead and scrap it if you want, or at least take a look and see what just see what's coming up next. If you're gonna get that orange or white or a blue, just so you have a better chance of knowing what's going on. And I do run that at 3 copies.
I'm pretty sure you can still milk.
Next is Datapad. When the upgraded character attacks, you can draw a card. Then you can put a card from the top of your hand on top of your deck. Again, another one that combos well with Skywarp and his ability. I only run it at 2 copies. I kinda am thinking about taking it out, but I don't know what I would replace it with. So for now, it's just gonna stay in. But a very nice utility there. So next, we are going to get to the card that I've been saying combos really well with some of your other ones, and that is swap parts. Choose 2 of your characters, swap all their upgrades. So for example, let's say you've got 2 characters out, both of them have an armed hovercraft out. You play swap parts, you switch those 2 armed hovercrafts, and when you switch your upgrades, they reactivate, so you're doing 2 damage to all of your opponent's characters. It's a very nice combo play there. I do run 2 copies of it. So after that, 3 leap into battle.
It's a good card.
Very good card. Very good card. It's a blue icon. One of your characters gets +3 attack until the end of the turn. With planes not having the most amount of attack by themselves, this really, really helps. I do run it at 3 copies.
Where do you think planes excel? Do you think they excel the most in their upgrades?
Um,
Because there's a lot of plane upgrades. Because, I mean,
well,
some of them have decent defense, some of them have decent attack, and their health is okay. But, I mean, I feel like their upgrades are, like, the best aspect to the planes.
I mean,
Is it hard to disagree with?
That is hard to disagree with. I mean,
I'm not trying to, like, call you out or anything.
No,
I mean, the planes are really cool.
I mean, their 2 main upgrades are for ranged characters in general, but
Or at least for this deck, they are, yeah.
Yeah, but their plane upgrade, which is Aerial Recon, like I said, it does.
Aren't there other plane upgrades? Or?
There's only the one right now. The other 2 upgrades are both for ranged characters.
I thought there were 2 or 3 plane upgrades.
There's just Aerial Recon as their upgrade, and then Bombing Run as their action card.
That's what I was thinking. I forgot they had actions. That's what I was thinking.
But
I remember seeing the plane symbol on a few different.
But yeah, I run this at 3. Like I said, planes don't have a whole lot of power on their own, and with how it seems, a lot of decks are going to start getting more defensive thanks to the double prime deck. So
I play double prime.
yeah, so you want to have a
Except
whole
I
lot
don't
of
play
power.
that. I don't play that stupid PAX list. I like my Ion Blaster and I like my Matrix of Leadership.
Hey, that stupid PAX list won.
To be fair, my primes haven't lost yet.
You know what? We should try to hook up with the Wreck and Rule guys, because that's one of the ones who had the deck and won, and try to hook up with them and do a match. You can be your primes against.
If we could find those guys, we should.
We just leave a message on YouTube.
It's like, hey, we're trying to get a double prime versus double prime build going.
Let's collaborate, guys. Next in the deck is one of the most important cards I feel in the whole game. Should not be run at any less than 3. Brainstorm.
Okay, I'm gonna argue with you there.
Okay.
On one point.
Okay.
Upgrade tanks, because that is a deck. Upgrade tanks is a deck.
Yes.
And you can use brainstorm there simply if you want to get the action. If you want to do the whatever action it is, you may play an upgrade. But like for the most part, upgrade tanks do not need brainstorm. That's my one point of argument on that.
So I'm in my tank deck. I do have brainstorm, and I'll be honest, I only run it at 2 copies. And I hate running it at only 2 copies. So I'm going to go back to 3.
That's a hard 3 in double prime.
Yes. Like I said, I think it should be 3 of in pretty much any deck, just because it's that good. You can pull off a lot of different combo plays with this card. It's just too good.
I will say though, on the subject for my double prime, I am going to take out some of the upgrades that are in there in favor of some actions. But I'm probably still the Matrix might come out.
Okay.
I love the Matrix, but the Matrix might come out. I'm keeping the Ion Blaster though. You can't. I'm keeping it. Keeping the Ion Blaster.
It's very.
There's
good
a solid
for
chance I'm
Optimus.
going to keep the Matrix, but like there's some other upgrades that I can probably get away with removing.
Okay.
But not Force Field.
Not for
Like if I'm running if I'm running Force Field, Cargo Trailer, Axe, or not Axe, Ion Blaster, and Matrix.
Axe is a good one to put in.
I only have 1, and I'm not going to run a 1 of X. So that'd give me 12 out of the 40, and then I can literally just have 38. No, not 38. 28 actions.
Okay.
I feel like I can that I can probably get away with.
Okay. Next, incoming transmission.
Yes.
On Joy-Con, draw 2 cards. Put 1 card from your hand to the top of the deck. Again, a little more of that top deck manipulation to better help your flips. I'm only running it at 2. I did originally have 3, but I took 1 out to make room for a few things. It hasn't hurt me yet, but you know.
In a lot of other games, it feels like you want to run every draw card at the maximum amount possible.
Yeah.
Don't really feel that in Transformers.
You know what? I don't feel that either.
And I don't feel that
was running
simply because of how the game works and you're eating through the deck. You don't deck out. Your discard becomes your deck again.
Especially with those decks that can run through it a lot
The
faster.
only one that you really need it for is big hand planes. You want to run like as much draw as possible in big hand planes, but I mean, you're not playing big hand planes.
Nah.
But yeah, I feel like draws are like the things that you can get away with not running at full numbers in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, now don't get me wrong, sometimes you're gonna run draws at full numbers, but you don't have to.
Speaking of drawing cards, next is Equipment Enthusiast. It's got a white icon. Draw a card for each of your upgrades. It's even with all of the removal cards that are in the game right now, it's not hard to get somewhere between 2 to 4 upgrades down. Play this card, draw that number of cards. I run it at 2 copies. It's a really good card just to help you refill your hand.
I'm just gonna run this out.
Next, I have 1 shall stand, 1 shall fall. Choose one of your characters and an enemy character, do 3 damage to each. It's really good for just helping do some finishing damage on a character, or maybe even do some damage to them, help put some damage onto one of your characters that might not have any yet, and then through Slipstream's ability or through one of your other cards, you can just, bam, do a little extra damage as well. I'm running it at 2 copies. It is one of those cards that does not have an icon, which kind of sucks, but it's real strong anyway, so you can get away with it. Next, I've got Photon Bomb. I run it at 3 copies. You just do 2 damage to every single enemy.
Photon Bomb's a good card.
It really is. Again, it's kind of like One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall. Just 1 less damage and does it to everybody. It does help set up for like your bombing run or, again, Slipstream's ability. Just a lot of good combo plays with that. Next, I've got 3 strafing runs. Do 1 damage to each enemy. A lot of times what happens to me, I'll be fighting against somebody and their character has 1 health left, and I'd rather be able to just do a little damage to them instead of actually having to initiate that battle, do the flips, waste the flips.
Yeah.
So this is a good card for that, just to help put some more of that burn damage on. And then finally, one of your most important cards, Bombing Run. Choose an enemy character, move 1 damage counter from each of your planes to that enemy. So if all 3 of your planes have damage on them, boom, you're removing 1 damage from each of them. It's basically a heal card, and then doing 3 damage to an opposing character. I run it at 3 copies. Again, you can do a whole lot of great combo plays with this, like Brainstorm, Photon Bomb, Bombing Run. It's really good for this deck. You could run it at 2 copies only and still be fine, but I just like to run it at 3. But that is the deck. Thank you for paying attention.
You are so great at delivering exits, Xavier.
So articulate.
Well, that was cool.
And Xavier.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.